Sarah, the Trusted Founder, and we've created a video series called Behind the Brand. The reason why is we really wanted to get to know who the trusted partners are. After all, people buy from people. So let's find out what motivates and drives the owners and the managers of the businesses that we are proud to promote and support on Trustedsaskatoon.com. Enjoy! Hi, this is Sarah from Trusted Saskatoon, and today I am absolutely thrilled to be doing our next Behind the Brand video. And the people that I'm interviewing today, many of you may recognize them. This is Laddie James and Shelley James from Hairstyle Inn Salons right here in Saskatoon. And they are Trusted Saskatoon Salons and have been since 2011, as they were one of the clients that came on board when they just fell in love with the idea of trusted. So first of all, welcome to my home. It's not the first time that you've been here. I'm very, very happy to say. We've become friends over the years, and I think birds of a feather flock together.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So many people that have sat in your chairs, because both of you have been involved in the business for many years, probably know quite a bit about you. You're not one of the hairdressers that keeps silent when they talk. But I think there's a lot of people that haven't experienced Laddie and Shelley. So, and also maybe Hairstyle Inn as well, very well-known salons. So what I'd like you to do first is just really, between the two of you, pass the baton and tell us the story of Hairstyle Inn. And I think it has to start with Laddie.
Absolutely.
Because it happened before you came into his life.
Yep, quite a while before me.
He's much older than you.
I'm not talking. I'm not saying how many years.
No, it started, I believe it would be around April 25th, 1977.
Wow.
The old Wildwood Mall in Saskatoon. And my parents started the first salon then. Mm-hmm. And I got involved in the salons in around 81 or so. And third generation, so both my parents, my grandfather, my wife Shelley, brother and sister are all stylists.
Wow.
And not everybody stayed with it, obviously, but we definitely.
You must have gone through some hairspray.
We've gone through a little bit. We've gone through a lot over the years.
So your grandfather?
Yeah, so he originally had in Sutherland a barber shop. Mm-hmm. Back when Sutherland was his own city, and it was.
It was, yeah.
And so we had 1977 opened there at Wildwood Mall, and then shortly thereafter, around 1980, opened at the mall at Lawson Heights.
Okay,
and
so you were one of the first people in there then?
We are the only original independent store in the entire mall.
Wow.
So we've been there, when they were doing some work there, digging up the mall, I had walked through there, and the mall manager was there, and it was in the middle, and I said, I'm the only person in this entire building who's seen that dirt.
So you should have put a time capsule in.
That would have been a great idea. But so we've been there.
And then a magazine for the time.
So we've been part of Saskatoon, probably one of the longest salons in Saskatoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was the first salon, because it is Hairstyle Inn Salons, and then you moved to...
And then we opened up in the center mall. It would be about 13, 14 years ago now.
So the Centre Mall, I've known it as the Centre Mall, been here since 2006, but it's had many iterations, and I know some people continue to call it the name that I don't know. Like, there's lots of different names that people have called it. So what has it been in the past?
Well, there was Wildwood Mall, and then on the other side of Acadia Drive, the two weren't joined together. There was sort of like a couple stores there, but they were
no
joined.
Bridge kind of.
No, but then when the bridge came in,
it was Circle Park Mall then?
Yeah, the Circle Park Mall, I guess they called it, and then finally took the center.
Yeah, and then you also branched out to PA as well.
Yeah, we did have there for almost 40 years, and one of our team members, who was one of the longest, that was with us for that full 40 years, and then she retired, and then we actually wound down operations there in Prince Albert once she retired, and it was amazing. She was Shirley was with us for a lot of years, and it's amazing person. Yeah. And so it was great. PA was a great location, great place. We loved the people up there, and it was just changing.
Yeah, it was time
as things evolve through.
Yeah. So that was a great segue without even trying to, because then we move on from the story of Hairstyle Inn and the history to where we are today, to the history of Laddie and Shelley. So PA is where you met, right?
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
Shelley was working in a jewelry store, and I was doing some work up at the salon there, and a friend of mine was in the jewelry business, and he walked by the jewelry store and said, "Hey, you have to go see this girl in the jewelry store." And I was like, "Okay." So
Easily led.
yeah.
And the rest is history.
Yeah,
as
that's
they
just
say.
sort of history as it is. Yeah, and we've been married now 31 years. Just shortly a while ago, like last Wednesday.
Wow. Oh,
And together
congratulations!
for
Happy
about,
anniversary!
together for about 35.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, what's the secret to being in business together? Because I mean, you were working in a jewelry store, but I mean, there's lots of people here, you know, around on TV and on the news, and friends, myself, that have had their hair done by you. So obviously, at some point, you kind of fell out of diamonds and fell into crimpers.
People have always been my passion. And I think that moving from diamonds to curling irons or shears was sort of natural for me because it was still people.
Yeah.
And the one is you just adorn people in a different way.
Yeah.
And so it was a natural fit for me. I've always enjoyed doing hair ever since I've been little. I did my Barbie hair, so all of my Barbies had their hair done and their ears pierced and wonderful things.
See, I would see the benefit of dating a hairdresser that he does the hair. It's like the benefit of dating a chef, like he does the cooking. But
You know, it's kind of like the cobbler's kids
No,
have
it
their
doesn't, it
shoes.
doesn't work that way. I'm just saying.
he's come and was like, oh, I don't want to do hair anymore. And you're like, okay, I guess I'll do my own.
Once upon a time we did each other's hair, but it's been many years since that's happened, so.
Yeah, well, you both got really good hair. So probably the best marketing that you have is the fact that you both have really good hair. Like when you see a hairdresser or a barber that's bald, it's like, oh, you know, like it's kind of cool, but yeah, you really do the brand a lot of favors by the hair that you have. And it might be a surprise to many people, but the hair doesn't match. Right, so this is not your kind of original hair color. So when Laddie met you, what color were you?
I was blonde with a strawberry highlight.
Blonde, and that was your natural color.
Yeah, well, I was born a redhead. It just didn't stay.
Because it looks.
But
so
now it's
much
back.
like you are.
It
Yeah.
matches my freckles.
Yeah, when you first told me that Shelley was blonde when you met, I'm like, no way. Like-
She's been that color for about 30 some years. The red. So.
Yeah,
It's just kind of seeped.
I'm a decided redhead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it very much suits you. Absolutely. So, being in business for that long, it's a family business, which comes with politics, right? You know, it wasn't something that you started. It's something that was a mantle that was passed on, and I'm sure there was kind of things that went on with that. And then you came into the business. So, what was the biggest obstacle that that you had? I mean, you had options to do whatever you wanted, right? You know, so why take that option?
No, part of it is I love being with the clients, like doing the hair. Other family members we have that of my family didn't stay with the industry, just wasn't their love, wasn't their passion. Mm-hmm. And then I had an opportunity to start doing traveling and teaching and a lot of international work. So it was sort of a neat double life where you would come home and you'd be in the salon and be working with your guests and clients, and then you'd fly off and go work in some city for a few days or a week. At one point I was flying to Winnipeg. I was there for a week every month.
I thought you were going to say like a really glamorous city.
And well, I worked virtually in every.
That's coming.
I've worked virtually in every city in Canada and the U.S. So I've worked in every city, and some international work. But I would spend 1 week a month in Winnipeg and 1 week a month in Vancouver.
Yeah.
So the most I was away was about 187 days in a year.
Wow.
And it was great. I just loved doing that, and then still being able to come back and sort of settle in with your guests. And
So what were you doing when he was off traveling to glamorous places like Winnipeg?
Holding down the fort. Well, you know, it wasn't that long until he had the opportunity to get involved doing more platform work as a guest artist.
Yeah.
And then we said, well, what about my wife? Like, we work together back home, so can we work together?
Come as a pair.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, that's kind of a cool idea.
And she can sing too. Vaudeville.
So we did. We started to travel together for a period of time, and that's where we got to do the largest shows that we did. Like New York City was a real blast. Like,
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, the IBS New York, the largest show in the world. Average attendance is about 60,000 a day.
So when you said that you're from Saskatchewan, did they know where that was?
No, sleep.
No. What state is that in?
Yeah, it was pretty cool because we got to work next to like the biggest names in the industry and biggest names in the world. And you'd sit and chat with them, and you'd sort of look and go like, I have no idea what I'm doing here, but you did, right?
Yeah.
Because you
worked for it.
you worked for it, you did it.
Worked hard for it.
And it's a different world then, especially because it wasn't just the ability to say you did it or take a picture of it and say,
Yeah.
oh, look what I
On
did.
Instagram,
You
yeah.
had to work to do it, and you had to be able to explain it and talk it and present it. And
In the real world without any touch-ups, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, those days, like, New York was a long day. Like, we got up at 5 and went directly to the show floor and prepped models, and, you know, we did 4 shows that day, and by the time we were off the show floor it would be, like, what was it, 7 o'clock at night, and go for dinner, and then crash and do it again for
4 days.
It was 4
Yeah.
days, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was high energy, lots of fun. Got to.
It's New York, like, I mean, fantastic
Yeah.
food and like music and all of those things. But if I'm getting about 5, but I guess it's kind of like Vegas. You just kind of make it through for those 3 days. And
Well, and I worked there for about 13 years, every year doing a show down there.
So what do you mean by show?
I have the opportunity with one of the training companies in the world, actually the largest training provider in the world, and doing work with them internationally. So I was featured in a couple books and DVD series in 85 countries, like 17 languages
Wow.
worldwide. So I've had some great opportunities, and with this particular show, the artistic director, international director, and myself would do a show there in Vegas every year during one of the big awards.
Did you have a
program.
glittery jacket for that?
Pardon me?
A glittery jacket? Like
I've got stuff.
I bet you do.
We've got closets full of wardrobe at home. Closets.
trunks.
And it's always in 12s. Like everything you buy, you go into buy a dress at a place and go, I need 12 of those, please. And they kind of look at you like, what's up?
Hey, Mormon.
So you would have to buy, and it was always like 10s and 12s and 14s of things. But
These are the people that you were working in teams with.
for the models that you had, you wanted to present, you know, a unified image. So
So I have something to share here. So and I've lived all around the world, and I've friends that are hairdressers and successful, and I've been on the circuit like you, and you know, have fancy salons and been in lots. I've been in kind of salons run by old ladies and salons run by Saskatoon and all of the rest. And I know when you first came onto Trusted, and we'll talk a little about that later on because it's not about me, it's about you, but I know that I'd gone to see a salon in town and they were interested, but when, you know, they heard that a mall salon was untrusted, well, that just wasn't where they were. And I already kind of had spent some time with you guys, and I knew how good you were. And I thought it was really interesting that like a salon in small town Saskatoon, like for me, I've traveled the world, you know, that they had judged you on your location rather than the talent that you had, and I thought that was super interesting.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother you at all, though, does it?
No, not at all. Because it's sort of interesting, because it would be like saying you don't want to live in the best location in a city.
Yeah.
Like, so the economies have changed, obviously, but malls, when they were built, they're the most expensive piece of real estate that exists in any city, in most cases. Now, there's been, of course, an evolution a little bit.
Yeah.
To big box and things like that, but that evolution started like in the southern U.S. where it's really nice all the time weather-wise.
Yeah.
And really malls are sort of that place where people, individuals, families can come together and kind of go off and do their thing.
Yeah.
And then they sort of meet up again.
Absolutely. My kids, like they're 15 and 12, like they want to go to the mall, just like I used to want to go to the mall. And hello, we live in Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
We don't live in
that's the thing,
California.
right? Yeah.
Where it's winter. How many months of the year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So for us, the locations are a natural fit, and the thing is that there's only a few of them in any city.
Yeah.
So there's always a natural reaction that if you can't be in that location because there's only a few people that are selected or get to be in those locations. That
they can't have a mall full of salons or a mall. They have to have a diversity of business, right? So
it's once you get in, you really want to stay, and it's an expensive piece of real estate to be part of. But because of that, you get a traffic flow and you get a different culture. And then as an individual stylist, it's really kind of cool if you're in between guests or clients and you're just saying, I'm not sure what I want to do. You can go for a walk and you don't have to put your jacket on. You don't have to bundle up. You don't have to go out and start your car. You just go for a walk and go check out some stuff and come back.
Sounds expensive.
Well, it's one way you can definitely spend a lot of money.
I was going to say, don't bring any money to work with you, but right away.
But yeah, so our locations, we could be off in our own buildings or in our own spots, but it's really essentially what Big Box is it's a mall without a roof.
Yeah.
So
location. Like that's always been the thing in real estate.
Yeah.
Which brings me to my first prop.
Yeah.
So, so we just heard that Laddie has been featured in DVDs and books and stuff like that. But what you'll see on the front of this book is The Secrets of Canadian Top Performers. You'll see Laddie and Shelley right here on the front cover, and but not for salons. So I obviously have read this, but tell people kind of, why you're in this book and kind of what your other passion is.
So, don't you describe to them what a date would be?
Well, we're a bit of an anomaly. Our idea of a date would be to grab a cup of coffee and get in the car and drive around and look at real estate. Like, that's what we did when we first met. It was something that we've always enjoyed, and whenever we have downtime, we find ourselves either looking at real estate visually by driving around, or we get on our phones like we just were a little bit earlier and looking at seeing what's out there, because it's always intrigued us.
Yeah, or we go
soulmates, like you literally are like real soulmates.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time together. When we would go to places and on holidays and stuff, it's funny, like the different places that we've been on holidays, we've gotten to know a lot of the people there. And surprisingly, in all of those locations, it's usually real estate agents and real estate developers in those areas. And we got to tour in places that we've been. We've got to tour some of the most amazing houses because they realized that you loved what somebody could do with a brick and a piece of wood.
Oh yeah, and the best real estate is the ones that are just like you, right? They love property, they love what they do, and they love to, you get to see the inside of those edifices that we see, with the lakes and stuff like that. So
it was really neat. So we started now well over 25 years ago, and
we've been together for 35 years.
So
probably
close to that, about that long ago, and we started like with a suite in our own house.
Yeah.
And because it helped us pay for our first mortgage, and then we moved on from there to the point where we were even when we've done different houses or flips or.
You did one in a weekend, right?
Well, actually less than that. A weekend would be long. Let's just say it would have been like the 31st, so 9 in the morning on the 31st. Till say midnight, 9 or midnight on the 1st. So that time frame, we've actually. Now we didn't do it all, but we were up the entire.
And you like get down.
Oh yeah.
You're not just like do this, do that, do that. Like you're doing it. You're kind of putting in
Yep.
kitchens, you're painting walls, you're putting in flooring, you're doing all of that stuff.
Yeah, that one that we did that quick turnaround was carpets, countertops, cabinets, carpets, light fixtures, everything. And we
Casings,
had tenants moving in, and I was still painting the entryway, and it'd be coming in, and I'd be like up against the wall like this with the roller brush, you know, but. You know,
So it's got to give you a kick.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, it's like almost like pressing the wheel in Vegas, and you just kind of got it all just in time. It just tick, 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 tick. Got it.
No, it's fun.
Yeah.
So
and knowing that you put all that effort into it, and that you made the right. But I mean, you made the right call. You got the right property. You either got the right tenants in, or you got that flip. But there must have been other times as well where, you know, you took off the walls and Yeeks.
Oh, yeah.
This is not what we were expecting.
No, we've involved at that either ourselves or now we sort of branched out to working with investors with houses. But yeah, we've gone into houses that this stove has been full of food in the fridge for 6 months, and you can imagine what that looks like without power for 6 months. And we walk into the house, we're walking around, and we're like, yeah, this looks great.
That's, I gotta say, you really have to be able to look past it, right?
Yeah.
At that point, you've really got to be able to, like, you know, be objective and see what you see and be an expert.
Yeah, we did our quickest. I want to say our quickest flip in which we did nothing but mow the grass was 2 days, and we made $8,000. In that time, we bought the property and resold it in 2 days, and
You just mowed the grass.
and we just mowed the grass.
That's pretty awesome.
So
It's fun. It's again, and
It sounds like a lot of work, and you keep saying it's fun. I'm just I don't know. Like,
it's work, but it's a different type of person, and it's interesting the people we've met because of that. Again, it's that diversity of things, where like what we do is very artsy, and then sometimes one of the guests that comes in, she said, we're talking about that, and she goes, oh, I just can't imagine you doing this and that and the other. So I pulled up my camera. She goes, oh, I didn't realize you could do that too. And I go, yeah. Well, like, what do you think? Like, but again, it's where you meet a different set of people as a result.
I guess
of
if you're good with your hands, you give me the hands. Like I was recently at away for the weekend with you guys, and we were at a friend's place, and the door wasn't working to go out.
This door has been not working for a long
And
time.
I've been there a few times, and the door's still been sticking. Laddie's there for a weekend, fixed it in 5 minutes, and I'm like, wow. Like I can cook and get people to invite me to cabins, but you can fix stuff like in 5 minutes.
but I think it sort of brings us the two sort of things that we do overlap in the sense that it's all about the relationships that you build, right? I mean, in hair, we build relationships, whether it's with our clients or our
Suppliers.
Or suppliers, like our suppliers we've known the same people for like 25.
Oh yeah, I know them now. I'm like, hey, how you doing?
Tenants that we have that we've worked with over the years have been like 10, 15 years. I mean, we've been to weddings, we've been to
funerals.
You just develop these great relationships with people, and a lot of times people often say, well, you know, it's just business, and I always correct them. I go, no, it's actually personal.
Yeah.
Because it's person to person. Like it might be business, but at the end of the day, it's a person.
Yeah. So, top performers, successful salons, doing really well and kind of ongoing with real estate and helping other people. What's your definition of success?
That's such a good question. I think your definition, like for me, is doing what you love, and with the people that you love. And
You are.
we are.
Yeah, I would say success for a lot of people, to them success usually has a dollar sign in it, and for us that's not really the case. We're fortunate in the team that we have, even with the salons. Like I would say without question, we have the longest number of years, average number of years that people are with us. Like we've got a ton of great people that have been with us like for 30 years and 25 years and 20 years and 15 years.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you 100% why it works, but you sort of evolve and you have this culture that's created because of it.
Oh, I think I can. I've sat in your chair and your chair, but I've also sat in the chairs of lots of your long-time staff and even some short-time staff. I mean, they love you. You know, they appreciate you, the way that you help them, not just help them get better as stylists, and you know, you help them get better as people. You give them advice and finances. You've helped them to be property owners and also become real estate investors. You invest so much in your staff, emotionally and financially, you know, that you are probably never ever, especially because you've got that location, which comes with a price tag, you're probably never going to have the fanciest salons in the world, because you wouldn't make any money if you did that and did everything that you did to keep people for 20 years, 15 years, 10 years. So I think, you know, you're underplaying the fact that your interest and you invest in people. You invest in people in your chair, and you invest in people that are in the salon. And sometimes that doesn't work out, especially if you're dealing with younger people that maybe you're their first boss, and but I do know that they'll look back if they ever do leave and go, oh shoot, I never had it so good and I didn't realize at the time.
Yeah, we try, we like there's a saying in the forces and in military, never leave anybody behind, right? Mm-hmm. And we definitely don't.
Yeah.
Like we are the last on the list when it comes to a wish list, because we want to make sure that the team and that everybody has what they need, and that and even for our guests and our clients, we're unique in that we're actually the number one with Joico, the number one color salon they have in Western Canada. We're in Saskatoon. So we're number one in Canada, and number one in Western Canada, number 3 in Canada, in all of Canada.
Volume, wow. Yeah. So what does that equate to? Like, I mean, I guess, is it in squirts? Is it in...
Well, in tubes of color, essentially in tubes of color. But we are the largest color salon that they have in Western Canada, and number 3 in all of Canada. And it's, we are just known for that, but we also are unique in that we have our primary brands, but then we carry what we call category killers. So whatever the best of the best is that is made by somebody, we will bring it in, and it might be one thing.
Yeah.
And we have it.
Yeah.
And so that's not typically how anybody else operates in this, because they have this unified sort of idea that we're going to have this really pretty thing that this is how it is, and we're going no, how as long as it works, that's more important than what it always looks like.
Yeah, no, and I'm all for that. I mean, yeah, I think that would be a surprise to a lot of people. And
we've got some things that we bought the entire inventory that exists in Western Canada.
Because you believe in it and you think.
Well, we know what it does and nobody else does. So when there was manufacturing things that happen, we would get a hold of somebody and go, we need all of these, and go, what do you mean nobody orders that many? Yeah, we do. And we've done that before, and it pays off when we can produce results that typically just nobody else can do.
So what I'm hearing in this is risk equals opportunity. Also comes with some challenges, and sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, but you're willing to risk things for the opportunity that affords you.
But risk to us, the greatest risk is doing nothing. Mm-hmm. Because if you do something and you fail, at least you've moved and you've learned.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully.
Right?
Don't do the same thing again.
You know, for us, it's all about, you know, how can we grow?
Yeah.
And without risk, there is no growth.
Yeah.
And so if you don't risk, you do nothing, you don't have a hope of growing.
And you don't move forward.
And you don't. Not at all.
So, what does retirement look for you two?
I have no idea. We're the oldest parents on the block. We're the oldest parents on the block. So we've got a few years ahead of us. But, you know, it'll probably involve, probably with the businesses, it'll still be what it is, and transitioning with some of our A team into the operations, and it'll probably involve doing some things with houses, and we just something.
So you're not sitting in a chair, that's what you're saying? No.
No.
You're not watching TV?
No.
Because you don't watch series on TV.
Not at all.
You can't commit to that.
Not at all. We're talking about doing another book on something that it's sort of that idea about us, how we work all the time together, and the elements of that. So we're actually working on that as we speak.
Yeah.
And
in life, it's so easy for people to walk away. So it's nice to have tools and tips about not walking away and sticking it out and staying together. So because it's never going to be easy in business and relationships and real estate. I'm sure there's been times you think, what the hell did we buy this?
Well, there's other words that we use, trust me. Shelley's got the best one, and it's about the 3 C's.
Well, I always think that the best relationships are always involved the 3 C's, which is communication, commitment, and compromise. Not always in that order.
Yes, no,
and
absolutely.
That's how relationships thrive.
Yeah, it is. That's partnerships. So we didn't really know each other from Adam in 2011, but I'd heard great things about you and had the opportunity to kind of talk to you about Trusted and what I was trying to do. And one of the issues I had when I moved from England was finding those things, right? Finding the person to do my nails, finding the person to do my hair. And I kind of flitted around a little bit and went to different people. Don't look at my grave, right? I haven't been to see them for a while. I've been busy. My wisdom. And, then we kind of found each other, and I told you about Trusted, and I was struck with kind of, who you are as people. But what did you like about the concept that you bought in?
I would say that, for me, because I remember seeing the presentation on our laptop and just saying, yeah, it sounds good. And I think it was about 6 or 7 months before it actually launched at that point.
You bought the idea.
And I love the idea because it made sense. Technology was, it's an exponential use. Like, we'll talk about how many years ago, and you'll think, okay, well, it was on a laptop, but people weren't using their phones like they are now.
No.
They weren't using it to make decisions like they are now. And so I understood the technology part of it, and it was an idea that made lots of sense. And you had a certain passion and a presence to yourself. So for us,
the accent. That's just
that's true. because just so you know, because my phone, when I'm using the map function, it's got the British accent. But anyways, there's a whole thing with that.
You don't shout back at me.
I think more than the British accent, though, it's to us. He called me up and he said, "Hey, we're doing this thing. It's this Trusted thing," and I went, "Okay, tell me about it." And it really kind of put all into one thing what we believe in, and that is, how do you market yourself in a way that is trusted and is infectious and is alive, and that encompasses all of the things that you've put into that Trusted. Because nobody that I've ever known in my life has ever met you and ever been able to say, "Sarah, who?" No, it's not Sarah, it's Sarah. But you embody all the things that Trusted is about, and you started something because you believed in it.
Yeah.
And you had a way of explaining it that I think goes out there and touches the understanding in the hearts of people, because we all want to know that I need a business that I can trust. Mm-hmm. And you've done the vetting so that we can
recently
do
plumbing and heating. So we called and went and said, well, just check to see who's on there. And we called them and said, hey, we're with Trusted also. You go, oh, okay. So it again changed.
It's a community.
Yeah. But it changed the interaction we had because we were also trusted. Yeah. And so there's that. I can call them up and say, yeah, they just went and did the job without us having to go jump through hoops to say yes, okay, we'll pay in advance or whatever you need. There was that trust that was automatic between the companies, which is also huge.
And it definitely has snowballed from where, from when I first started it was really all about the consumers. I'd been ripped off. I wanted to stop that happening to other people. I knew they were great businesses, but it was a more of a one-way focus. And then I meet these wonderful businesses, and then I become invested, and my team becomes invested in them as well. And now it's like, okay, we want these businesses to succeed. We want want them to do well, and how awesome that by them succeeding, we succeed, and the consumer wins.
Yeah, well,
It's a win-win-win.
Yeah, and we make
Yeah.
the call. We're a consumer. Like
Yeah.
we're just the consumer, but we don't know necessarily all the logistics of the particular service that we're looking for or what we're needing, and knowing that they've sort of been vetted and that you can trust what they're going to tell you.
Yeah.
They're not going to tell you something.
Even if they
find
make
out after.
mistakes, they're gonna own them. I
And
mean,
they
that's the
do.
thing, because nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
I'm certainly not. You know, gosh, Kim would hate that.
None of us are, but being responsible and owning
Owning them.
mistakes.
And what you do
know.
then? What's it then? Communication,
Yes,
compromise,
and commitment.
commitment. So yeah, you know, I
And-
mean, it fits in perfectly.
It does.
So community is probably another C that I would add to that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is something that has always been at the heart of Trusted, and I was committed that I was going to be giving back to community because community supported me, and small business, you know, and everywhere I've been has always been a massive support of community. But not everybody takes it that one step further and starts their own non-profit. So tell us about TLC at Home and how that came about.
TLC at Home, which stands for Touching Lives of Children, right here at home, came about because we as a salon really wanted to give back to the community in which we live and thrive in. We started out with 3 classes, bringing a Christmas gift, which includes things that we take for granted, like toothpaste, toothbrushes, socks, hats and mitts. And of course, because they're kids and it's Christmas, why not something fun that they can cherish? And so 3 classes the first year, and then we expanded and now reach approximately 1,000 children with the help of the community. We have wonderful partners that have helped to make that happen, like Cameco and Trusted as well, and Global TV, and recently Uyghurs has come on board, and Cruise FM. Like we've had different partners throughout the years that have kind of come and gone that have really helped us get there and keep us touching the lives of children. Without the community, we couldn't make it all happen.
So for anyone that doesn't know, so TLC at Home, they're a charity, a non-profit year-round, but really their drive is for Christmas. So now is really when we need your involvement. So it's August 2020. So you've been recognised in Canada, winning the Community Salon of the Year award.
Yeah, 2017 we were the Canadian Community Service Salon of the Year.
Which is well deserved. And Shelley, you've also been recognised by the YWCA Women of Distinction as well for community building. So again, and again, if you've ever been to that, like the room is filled with impressive women. So, you know, and it's a very, very kind of hard fought category because there's so many people that give back. But I was very proud to be there supporting you and have nominated you, and it was a wonderful evening and very well deserved. Yeah. So yet another thing that you've been extremely successful at, real estate, salons, community. What do you want to be remembered for?
Wow. Touching lives.
Yeah, a life well lived.
Yeah.
Laddie?
Well, I think for a lot of people, the idea of leading people is always, at least in the measure that I see for how people measure it, it's the leader is the person who's always in front of them. Like they're always saying, like, you know, that's the person, that's the person, that's the person. And I would say I probably have a little bit of a different view of it. Often we'll do things, and we toured a salon group doing a bunch of shows. You know, it was actually team members in the salon. And now I've done hundreds of shows internationally, nationally. I like big shows, so I can put those things together without even thinking about it. Mm-hmm. And so it'd be easy to come into a group and say, okay, well, you need to do this, and you need to do this, and you need to do this, because you've got the experience and the knowledge and the know-how. But really, you're not leading anybody because you're telling them what to do, and they do it. And at the end of the day, nobody really remembers anything. But yet, if you put that group together and they have that synergy, and they figure it out together, and then sort of people take their roles of what they're best at, and then they go off and do it. At the end, you have this amazing product, but if somebody asked, well, who organized this? Nobody would know who it was.
Mm-hmm. The teacher and the inspiration.
Yeah.
Great combination.
So to me, it's the best way to be remembered is in an odd way to not be remembered, because you're creating and doing all those things and giving people the opportunity. Mm-hmm. But I don't find, like, even within the salons, like in an insta-famous world where people will judge somebody by how many followers they have. I mean, I don't necessarily use social media a lot, because it's not important to me that I have a bunch of followers. I know what I can do. I know what I've done. I know where I've been. And we can take that and share it with the team that we have or with people that we have.
Yeah.
But we're not necessarily looking for the recognition that most people are looking for.
Yeah.
And
so ego is the enemy, and you put ego aside and just live.
Just do our thing.
Yeah.
Like the famous saying, just do it.
Yeah.
Without giving them credit for it.
An IKA.
It's really, if more people spent time helping others be the best they could be,
Mm-hmm.
what a wonderful world we would have.
Absolutely, yeah. And don't try to force people into a box.
No.
Allow them to be themselves. And if being themselves isn't within your organization or doing whatever you'd like them to do, then they're never going to be happy. So you have to let them go, right?
Yeah,
so
we have a pretty diverse group of people. That's the
awesome.
neat thing. That's the neat thing about it, is that you'll sometimes look at everybody hanging out and talking and chatting, and it's like, wow, everybody is so not sort of different, but so distinctly unique and different that normally you wouldn't be a group together, because most people like themselves.
Yeah.
And we've created this synergy. So often people will say, like, how do you do that? How do you have people that have been with you for 10 or 15 or 20 years in an industry where the average number of years is 3 to 5 years? That's it.
That says everything.
If that's it,
really
3 to
does.
5 years, and we've got people who've been 20 years.
39.
Yeah.
In some cases more. And people say, well, what do you do? And there's sometimes things you can't explain, but they just sort of evolve.
Yeah.
And it's just...
And you keep doing it because it's working.
Well, whatever it is, it seems to keep working. But that's the part of it, is that sometimes, having your hand on the pulse is just being near it, not necessarily on it.
Yeah.
And letting it evolve and letting it have its natural course, and sort of giving it guidance and direction, but letting it have its own space.
Well, I, for one, just love being around you too. You are a power of positive. The same when I walk into the salon. And, if you haven't been to Hairstyle Inn on the Centre Mall and Lawson Mall, go check it out. You can book it online. You can check out their reviews and much, much more on Trusted Saskatoon and all over the internet. Reviews are really important, and you are constantly getting great reviews, which is a testament to itself. Laddie and Shelley, I'm very, very proud to call you partners in all manner of the word, and communication has always been fantastic, and commitment to Trusted and to the partnership has always been great. So thank you very much for taking the time to find out who you are behind the brand. And again, support local, support your salons. They've been through a pretty tough time, and I can say, very, very clean place that we live in now in COVID. They take it to the next level as well. So please do go in, and we look forward to many, many years of this partnership. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much for all you do.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Given the thumbs up by Trustedsaskatoon.com, and now you know why.